Hello there, I'm Jack, and I've decided to join the YouTube and online community to help spread an awareness. And so that awareness is something that means a lot to me. It deals with communication, and that's a big thing. That's a big thing for all of us. You know, how do we communicate within all these different departments of life, and we all speak different languages, and that's just something that's always fascinated me, is conflict. How do people experience other people, other animals, other environments in many different ways? And so that's always interested me. And so as a kid, I've gone through these issues, and I saw things a little differently, and some kids would call me out on it. It obviously hurt, and then as it kept happening, you know, through different stages of school, it kept penetrating different parts of me, and it was hard to release that. And so basically it went all the way up until college, until I didn't have to be around them if I didn't want to be, not nearly as much as, you know, elementary school, middle school, high school, because it's every day or 5 days a week, and you take the same classes, and you really can't skip school because you get expelled. But you can in college. You'll just fail out, no big deal. But after I graduated, that's when I started really accelerating my journey into this sort of realm of life, which is communication, like I said. And communication is just oscillation, it's energy, and we can see that in a lot of different areas of life. So energy is this entire universe in many different slices, many different shades and colors, just like the rainbow. It's not just 7 colors, infinite amount of colors. It's just how detailed, how specific do you want to get within those colors. But it's all one continuous vibration, just different oscillations. But we'll get into all that stuff later, because all that stuff's too much to talk about. And so with that message, I feel like I've gained a greater understanding of communication and energy. And so I wrote my first book, which is called Observations of the Blind. It's a very long, detailed book. I use a lot of examples, and so it can be tough because a lot of these examples are Western examples mixed in with Eastern philosophies. So, you know, sometimes it can be hard to pick up, but essentially what I talk about is division, it's duality. That's the biggest issue I have with life. We create all these departments, and these departments don't know how to talk to each other, because, you know, let's just say a customer or someone with a question, whoever it is, saying, I need help with this, and they talk to one person at the company, and they say, oh, that's not my department. I don't know what that is. I don't know how to help you or give you any advice in that. That's that guy's department. The way I see it is that we all are talking about the same thing, just like that rainbow. It's all one continuous vibration, just different frequencies, so different dimensions. And so what I've done was I erased the colors of the rainbow. And I said, look, it's energy. Doesn't matter what the frequency of that energy is, you know, long or really fine. It's all energy. It just depends on how we want to talk about it. So let's look at the stock market. It vibrates up and down. It looks like energy, and it looks like a particular pattern. It's not nice and smooth like science, you know, where everything's even, perfectly round. It has personality. So stock market, there's energy in money. That's why I say money is energy, because it oscillates. There is value in it, there's less value. More value, less value. That's that oscillation. You know, we put more energy into money, or we put less energy into money. So we determine the energy of it. And that's mainly what that first book is about, is just to show the energetic universe. And so I set it up that way to show more of the court that we're playing on. And then later in that book, I tried to describe, what we can do with it, our ability in it. And it's more like our palettes, just like a painter, painting a scenery. It's however they want to see it. And then the paint is what happens, or the painting is what happens. So I wrote that book. People told me it was really long and very detailed, and I understand. I'm not trying to say anything bad about it, but I wrote a second book. Hopefully it's more the Apple version of that first. First would be in an Android, very detailed, hard to navigate. And so the second book is called Heart Exercise, from Atomic to Cosmic. And so what I wanted to show was that there's a singular core, that combines the dualities together, just like what I was talking about. So we have this division, but without a core, one singular core, we cannot split it in two to create that dynamic. So that's what the second book is about, and it's more of a direct, like a one button push to navigate through the book and see the concepts. And I try not to use as many examples, so everyone can apply whatever examples they want in it. So you can actually get best of both worlds if you read both those books, but it may take a little bit longer to read the first one. But I also made a PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint is different than the other two books. So they're all three of those mediums are different from each other, but they all talk about the same thing, which is energy, an energetic universe, consciousness, ego, perception, soul journey, self-healing, and what are we doing here? That's a big one, soul journeys. Like how do we find our purpose? How do we understand, to get to that place? Because a lot of us feel like there's something inside, but how do we get there? And to me, we have to understand what isn't there. And I know that sounds like, Eastern hocus pocus. So I'm sorry, like the only way out is in, the only way in is out, all that stuff. That's just duality. But that's what I believe. The more we figure out this oscillation back and forth between white and black, and this and that, and you and me, and individuality and community, and love and hate, good and evil. And so when we see all those things, we really start understanding who we are at that core, that singular core. Like, where does it start? And what means what to us? That's really the question. What means what to us? And then once we understand that, we can really start flowing through life in a much different way. There isn't this really stretched charge within us, because we know what it's all about, and we know what we're supposed to be doing here. And that's really where the heart comes in. We have a nice energetic field around our heart, and if we really understand that field and what it means, I guess when it shifts, that's when we understand, where we are, who we are. That's why I like energy so much, because that's what has helped me in energy in a lot of different ways, like I said. But understanding energy at more expansive levels and dimensions, it's helped me really see what I'm doing here, what I'm supposed to be doing here, because all my life I've been doing this, but it wasn't quite so clear until recently, and that's what sparked all this stuff. Especially this, I'm supposed to get this out in one way or another. So that's why I feel so deeply into energy, and particular slices of energy, because they're my specialties. Everyone has their own specialty in energy. So mine is with ego, and human connection, human communication. So we can do it with many different things, though, if we want to apply it. So that's a big theme in mine. So we just strip the label away, and we can say, yeah, I can do this anywhere at any time. but we all have our specialties. So that's what I like to deal with. That's part of my message, is really trying to spread that sort of energetic awareness of what's going on in this reality, what's our connection to this reality. And that's really important, because if we don't understand our connection to this reality, how are we really going to understand what we can do with it, how we move through it? It's, then we're fixed. If we don't understand our connection to it, we're isolated from it, we're more disconnected from it. So what I try to do is spread a massive awareness of what's going on, playing a devil's advocate, like a balancer, maybe a spiritual accountant, if you will. So that's what really allows for that expansion, to see both sides of that dynamic, that energy. And when we see both sides, we see a more complete picture. And then we know what to do with that picture. Just like any professional in their field, what do you know? They'll talk about ups and downs. And they'll say, yeah, you can't get caught up in that big high, big sale or whatever, or big win. You also can't beat yourself up on those losses and maybe rejections, because they understand that cycle from a grander perspective. They see it oscillate more rather than just riding up the hill. Because if we're just riding up the hill, we don't see over that hill. It almost looks like it goes on for infinity. But professionals have been through all that, and they see that full process, or more of that process, than most other people. And that's why they can really sink into that field. And so that's what I try to hope to do. I'm not trying to say I'm a professional or anything, because I think we're all learning here. I'm learning something every single moment. But that's what I hope to do, is really stretch what people already see, if they want to be stretched. So it's your choice. So with that, just let me know if you enjoy anything that I talk about. I invite comments, especially with the PowerPoint. Let me know how that works out. I'll be posting video blogs, just like this, about particular topics, but hopefully they'll be shorter rather than long books. So I'm hoping to touch on all those mediums. So the book got a lecture style medium, and then this improv video style. So your comments are definitely appreciated. I mean, that's how I get anywhere, is people talk about their perspectives and let me know how they see it. So if you do that, you help me, and it also helps you. It helps me help you. So you see the relationship, the energy flowing. So like I said, comments are totally appreciated, and questions and comments. So I could do the whole, please subscribe to my YouTube channel here, and like us on Facebook. But it's your choice. You don't have to do any of them, but I definitely would appreciate the support, the following, and especially the comments. Like I said, I really appreciate questions and comments. So thank you for going through this, and I hope to talk to you at some point.